tips for dealing with an estate from out of town. Hey guys, this is Brad from probateresource.com. At probateresource.com, at our core, we're actually a real estate solutions company specializing in the world of probate and inheritance properties. But we've actually built out probateresource.com and our YouTube channel and Probate Resource to be an all-encompassing probate resource for you to hopefully answer all the questions you might have around the world of probate. So let's get into today's topic. We're going to talk about these are tips for dealing with an estate from out of town. Very frequently, we get reached out to by an estate who is basically an executor or an administrator of an estate who's interested in selling a property, but they do not live near the property that they're interested in selling. They could either be, significantly out of town, long drive, or they could even be out of state. In fact, just yesterday, we sold a property that we had purchased from an estate, and the property was in Georgia, where I personally live, but it was on the complete opposite side of town. It was an hour and a half drive from our office to get to this property, but we had bought this property from an executor who lived in the state of Illinois, and this person just really needed some help with this estate. They were so far out of town. They needed help with this, so we were able to help them with the estate. Fortunately, their probate attorney had done all their probate documents correctly, and we were just waiting on one more document, and they had hired a probate. They didn't use one of our preferred attorneys, but they had hired a probate attorney locally here in Georgia to help them probate the estate, and they were able to get their probate letters just about a week before we closed. And we knew that going into it, that they were still missing that one document that needed to be clarified. That happens quite frequently, so don't let that hold you back. We've been through this rodeo enough times, so we understand what we need in order to close, and sometimes we might need an additional document, and we can wait for that. We even have kind of stipulations in our contract that allow for that. If the closing date needs to change because we're waiting on a letter or whatever, we're flexible there, right? So we dealt with this executor, and we purchased a house from her back at the end of February, and we went in and we renovated the house. And we ended up selling the house to an end buyer yesterday. So we were able to resell that property, and a young family has decided to move into that property and start their family there in that particular property. So that was great news, right? We do that all the time. That's not the first time we've done it. And we get reached out to us by a lot of people who feel like they need to go see the property and touch it and feel it and go visit the property. And if you're a busy we're all busy people, right? Maybe if you're retired and you got all the time in the world, that's one thing. But a lot of the people we deal with are extremely busy. They have their own lives going on in their own world. They see it as a burden to have to deal with this estate from out of town. I'll give you a great example. Actually, when my grandmother passed away, at the time, my dad was the executor of her will, and my dad, at the time of her passing, was actually living down in Florida. He had got transferred down to Florida for a job. So he was left having to deal with the estate of my grandmother while he was in Florida. So one of the things he actually did was there was a specific instance where a specific document was needed, and he was traveling like on a business trip and couldn't deal with it that week. So he actually appointed a temporary executor of the estate, appointed one of his relatives that lives here in Georgia to sort of help execute that task that needed to be done. So that's a possibility. Talk to your probate attorney about that. If you don't have a probate attorney, we have a fantastic network of probate attorneys we work with at Probate Resource. We'd be happy to connect you with one of those attorneys. But there are resources. Lean on your local resources. Don't feel like you have to go see the property, because in today's age, you don't. You can find somebody online. You can find a friend or a family member or some stranger you don't even know to go visit the property. Make sure you find a person you can trust. If you're working with, like, for instance, for us, we have boots on the ground. We buy properties all over the U.S., but we have boots on the ground in all the different markets. We have people that we know and trust in those specific markets that will go check out the property for us. They'll go take pictures for us. They'll go do video walkthroughs for us. They'll put lock boxes on the properties for us. We have them do that, and we help sellers with that all the time, where we will send one of our people out to the property. They will go to the property. They'll take pictures of it. We always require them to do pictures and videos. They have to check on the property at least once a week, go visit the property, make sure everything is good. They'll put a lockbox on the property. They'll handle access to the property. We've had sellers actually like FedEx us keys, and then we go drop the keys in the lockbox at the property. It stays on the property. The seller or the executor or whatever has the lockbox code. So if for some reason they need to send someone over that they know, they have the code. And then obviously our people would have the code, and we'll, kind of handle that. Real estate agents also handle that for you. If you're working with a real estate agent and they're selling the property for you, generally speaking, they can handle a lot of things for you. And if you're interested in maybe selling a property the traditional way, through a real estate agent, instead of getting like a cash offer from an investor like us, we actually built out a fantastic network of real estate agents all over the US that are probate and inheritance specialists. If you'd like for us to connect you with one of those real estate agents, we'd be happy to do that. And you can lean on that agent as a resource to help, go check on the property, whatever. If you need to send somebody over, they can meet them over there and unlock it. I would highly advise you to have someone put a lockbox on the house with keys in it. That way you don't coordinating schedules between people visiting the houses and the person who has the key. Sometimes, for instance, they'll give a key to like the next door neighbor, and that's a good solution. But what if the next door neighbor is not home and you need to send someone over to the property to go check it out, and the next door neighbor's not home and the next door neighbor has the key? What do you do there? That's where a lockbox comes into play. Lockboxes are very inexpensive. You can buy them at all the big box stores, hardware stores, or whatever. Or you could hide a key if you'd like. I would recommend putting a lockbox so it's, safe and secure, and put a key in there. And that way someone who needs to get access to the house can have access to it. Also, there may be other things you need to deal with locally, legal things, for instance. And typically speaking, if you're working with a probate attorney, and we would always advise you that you should work with a probate attorney. In some states, you don't have to work with a probate attorney. You can do probate yourself, and lots of people do it themselves. But especially when you're dealing with an out-of-state estate, I would recommend that you work through a probate attorney to help you with that, because they're going to be able to go to court for you. And then also nowadays, in the age of technology, COVID kind of fixed this. A lot of states and municipalities and counties and all that will allow you to get sworn in as executor or administrator via a Zoom call. You don't even have to go in person to the courthouse anymore. You can do all of that remotely from wherever you are. So if you've got a property you've inherited that's out of town, and if you're kind of concerned about how you're going to deal with this, there are resources and ways to get around that. So you don't have to buy an expensive plane ticket or hop in the car and drive there or whatever. You can have other people help you do that, because we do that all the time. I can't be in all places at all times. So I've built a network of trusted people that I know that can go to a property and check it out. Also, make sure that if you've inherited a property and it's going to be vacant, make sure that you contact your insurance agent or your insurance company, and make sure that you have vacant dwelling coverage on that property. I actually used to be a licensed insurance adjuster once upon a time, years ago. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of homeowners insurance policies have exclusions for vacancy. So if the property has been vacant for longer than X period of time, it's going to say it in your policy. It's going to tell you exactly what that is. The insurance company may not cover any claims that occur during that vacancy period. So it's very important that you have a vacant dwelling coverage policy on that will cover you in the event that something might happen to the property when it's vacant. I would always recommend that you have someone turn off the water at the main. Do not leave water turned on. And properties, we had a property years ago, we had a pipe burst, and we had that property, that was, the water was running or whatever. So I always turn off the water out at the main, like up at the street by the water meter. If you have a well pump, maybe you just turn the well pump off. That way it's not pumping water through the house. You want to make sure that that's off. And then also, if you're dealing with a property in the winter time, you want to make sure that it's winterized so that pipes don't freeze and that sort of thing. So those are my tips for today, dealing with a property from out of town. We've We deal with it all the time. So if you're interested in chatting with us about helping you with your property, maybe you want to sell the property, we'd be happy to make you a cash offer on that property, or we can refer you to one of our great real estate agents. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a network of agents all over the US that are probate and inheritance specialists. So we can either make you a cash offer or connect you with one of our agents. Go to the website at probateresource.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to the page. There is a form there on our website. You can fill out that form, or there's a phone number at the top. If you just want to call us and chat with us on the phone, give us a call, that phone number at the top, or fill out the form, however you want to do that. A member of our team will be in touch with you ASAP, and hopefully we can help you out with your property. So thanks for checking out this video. I'm Brad with probateresource.com. Hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.